Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the international seminar on the Belt and Road Initiative Regional Cooperation, which is a special session of the Friends of the Silk Road clubs of all regional countries of South Asia. My name is Mustafa Haider Syed, and I'm the Executive Director of the Pakistan-China Institute. And it takes us great pleasure to host this first of its kind Friends of Silk Road Club meeting. And it's an honor for the Pakistan Friends of Silk Road to host countries including but not limited to Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, and of course, China. The Friends of Silk Road in Pakistan was the first Friends of Silk Road that was initiated to serve as a platform of political parties, businesses, civil society, and youth, women, and all those who are actually friends of the Silk Road. And since its initiation in 2019, the Friends of Silk Road in Pakistan has become as the focal platform of understanding, interpreting, and enhancing the Belt and Road Initiative. And not only limited to enterprises, but to local communities, different regions of Pakistan, provinces, universities, and academia. And we are very much looking forward to the very interesting discussion that we will have today on the people-to-people bonds of the Belt and Road Cooperation and how the Belt and Road will unveil in the post-pandemic world order in 2022. And as I earlier said, they are old friends and new friends. I welcome also our important friends from China, including Mr. Wang Yiwei, who's a distinguished scholar from the Renmin University. Our friend, Dr. Kalyan Raj Sharma, who has participated in earlier conferences that we've hosted as well, from Nepal. And we have other friends from different countries as well. So without much further ado, we will hand over to Senator Mushaid Hussain Syed for the opening remarks, who is the chairman of the Friends of Silk Road Pakistan, chairman of the Pakistan-China Institute, chairman of the Defense Committee of the Senate of Pakistan, and former Minister for Information, Culture, and Youth Affairs. Over to you, Senator Mushaid Hussain.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon from Islamabad, and ni hao to our Chinese friends. First of all, my greetings to all of you on the holiday season. Happy holidays. For those who celebrate Christmas, a Merry Christmas. And those who are going to celebrate the New Year, a very Happy New Year to you, your friends, and your families, and your countries. And it's a pleasure to be hosting this very important international conference of like-minded people from different parts of Asia at a time when the world before us is being transformed. And we are very fortunate that we in Pakistan, the Pakistan-China Institute, were privileged to be the founders and the hosts of this initiative of the Friends of Silk Road. And when we started off in February 2019, as the Chinese saying goes, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And the first step has now become a giant leap to build a better tomorrow through corridors, through culture, through connectivity. And today, as we can see on our screens, the representation is of diverse and distinguished people from various countries of Asia, in South Asia, Southwest Asia, Southeast Asia. And so we are all together at a time when the Belt and Road Initiative, which was launched by President Xi Jinping in 2013, has now become probably the most important diplomatic and developmental initiative of the 21st century, with over 117 countries of Asia, Africa, Latin America, Middle East, Europe signing on to this. Whether it's the Silk Road economic belt through the land or the maritime Silk Road. So this connectivity is being viewed by the majority of the international community, by the majority of global public opinion as the way forward. Ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I would like to compliment our Chinese friends as we close this important year of 2021 on 2-3 important developments that took place this year, on which it is quite a success. First of all, my compliments to the Communist Party of China as they marked the 100 years of the establishment of the CPC. And the Communist Party of China has been the builder of New China as well. And one of the pillars of building New China has been poverty alleviation. And it was in 2021, this year, that absolute poverty has been eliminated from China, which is again a very historic development. And I remember my first meeting with President Xi Jinping. It was in 2010, and he was then vice president. And I remember talking to him for 1 hour in the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. And we discussed about China's future and his vision for the future of China. He became president 2 years later. And he talked about the vision of China for the next 40 years, he said. And he mentioned then that in 2021, we will eliminate absolute poverty from China. And then he mentioned about 2030s and 2049 also, which will be 100 years of the establishment of the People's Republic of China. So it's very important that what was talked about, what was professed, has been practiced. And I also want to compliment our Chinese friends on the success story of combating the coronavirus pandemic, which is a scourge, a common threat to humanity, which is a borderless enemy. And China contained it successfully. And not only that, then China, after containing coronavirus successfully, and we remember last year, the Wuhan lockdown of 76 days, which is quite heroic, we see that China distributed the vaccines made in China as a global public good. The first country to do so. And 85 million of those vaccines, whether it's Sinopharm, we got our first vaccines, Sinopharm in Pakistan, Sinovac, CanSino. So they have saved millions of lives. They've helped millions of people to recover. So that also has been an important contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk of the Friends of Silk Road, we're talking of a people's platform reflecting different aspects of society, whether it's political parties, whether it's youth and women groups, whether it's business, civil societies, NGOs, a platform to promote people-to-people understanding, promoting connectivity, and to build a better tomorrow for a shared destiny. And today we see the diversity and the development of this initiative, as can be seen from today's important event. And we feel that when we talk about this connectivity, this is about win-win cooperation. This initiative of the Silk Road, the Belt and Road Initiative, it's not directed against any countries. It is to bring countries, cultures, civilizations, continents together. And that has been achieved. So we feel that this is the way forward, especially for us in Asia, who have seen conflicts, confrontation, cleavages in the past. Especially, we are just seeing the end of the 9/11 era. in our part of the world. And we would feel that the Asian century, which has been heralded in the 21st century, demands a new kind of approach to international relations, in which China has taken the initiative through the Belt and Road Initiative, the BRI, and the Friends of Silk Road is something which is supplementing and supporting that positive initiative. But at the same time also, we should be very wary of other trends which are there. And I'm glad that it's not just coronavirus pandemic on which China has taken the initiative. I was last month recently in Glasgow for the COP26 conference, representing my country and my parliament, Pakistan, there. And I was very happy that China has also shown leadership on climate change. And President Xi Jinping has given new commitments to ensure mitigating the consequences of climate change. So this leadership, whether it's the coronavirus pandemic or climate change, are very positive. But we see some other trends, and I'd like to just briefly point out those trends. There is a lot of disinformation and fake news. There is still a Cold War mindset in certain parts of the West, especially among hawkish elements in Washington. And I was recently also in Washington in November, meeting people in the US Congress. And I told them that after 20 years of the so-called war on terror, after 9/11, the world, and especially Asia, needs a respite from any kind of war, hot war or cold war. And this kind of zero-sum game, a Cold War mentality, is something which is not acceptable to Asia. And we feel that globalization, the common threats of climate change, coronavirus pandemic, poverty alleviation, demand cooperation, demand consultation, demand connectivity among various countries and continents for a common, better tomorrow. And we also feel that some of these initiatives that have been taken in Asia, for example, when they talk of AUKUS, for example, the Australia, UK, US initiative, or even giving a military meaning to Quad, or trying to build up an Asian NATO, these are not positive trends. These go against the concept of peace, concept of the principles of peaceful coexistence, Panchshila, which is a product of the Asian Renaissance. So we feel that it's important that when we are taking these initiatives to bring people together under common platforms, that we reject such notions of conflict, confrontation, Cold War. And we feel that it's important that like-minded friends in Asia cooperated. And now we have a platform. And this platform, for the first time, has been brought together in one important conference. So I feel that 2022 should also herald meaningful, institutionalized, periodic cooperation. How can we do that? Maybe I just have some ideas. Maybe we should start by even this group, which is there, the core group of our Friends of Silk Road. We can start with a WhatsApp group or a WeChat group, communicating regularly. We can exchange electronic newsletters. We can be hosting that newsletter and start with that. Keep each other abreast of each other's activities and keep each other abreast of each other's trends. And we can also have a common website, perhaps, on the Friends of Silk Road, where experiences are shared. Because after all, we have a common heritage, broadly a common history, and a common vision for a common destiny. So it's important that today's meeting result in some initiatives that are long-lasting to knit our Friends of Silk Road clubs together. So we continue this cooperation successfully, and that we also learn from each other's experiences and share each other's experiences. And that, I think, would be an important element of our success. So I want to wish all of you a very happy new year. I want to thank you for your patience in listening to me. And I thank you for participating in this first ever global conference of the Friends of Silk Road, hosted by the Pakistan-China Institute. And I look forward to further interaction with all of you collectively or bilaterally or multilaterally. And the themes have already been enunciated. And I think they are all something which are convergent with our broader interests and our vision to build a better tomorrow with no overlords and no underdogs, and a peaceful and a prosperous future. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Mushahid Hussain, for your very fruitful recommendations for coordination between our countries, and also on how the region has changed with the COVID-19 pandemic and the role of China that we have seen emerge as the biggest challenge to humanity emerged a year and a half ago. I just noticed that former ambassador, Pakistan's ambassador to China, Ambassador Nagmana Hashmi, has also joined. Thank you, Ambassador Nagmana, for joining. And Syed Hassan Javed, who's former ambassador to China as well from Pakistan, is also here. Welcome. Now we will go to...
I just want to add, Syed Hassan Javed has written a new book, China as #1, which was launched yesterday in Islamabad. So I want to compliment him, and I would like to share that book with other friends of the Friends of Silk Road, inshallah. Thank you.
Now we will proceed to topic 1, which is strengthening multilateralism through mutual understanding. And the context of this topic is that as we see certain cliques being formed, certain groupings, and at a time when the need of the hour is multilateral cooperation, international cooperation, we see the grave challenges of climate change, of the COVID-19 pandemic. But we see that certain countries are pursuing narrow political interests that give precedence to interests of the ruling elite of certain countries over humankind. And the first speaker of this session is Mr. Wang Yiwei. Mr. Wang Yiwei is the director of the Institute of International Affairs of Renmin University. And I remember that in the first Belt and Road Forum, the CGTN had a show on the sidelines, and it was a pleasure to be with Mr. Wang Yiwei together when Dr. Robert Kuhn was the host of the CGTN show on the context of the Belt and Road Forum. So over to you, Mr. Wang Yiwei.
Thank you, Mr. Senator, and also Mr. Senator and all the distinguished friends. I to show my PPT. Please allow me to use my PPT. The song.
You can use
this shows the. Sorry, I cannot use the PPT. I don't know.
We have enabled screen sharing, so you can share.
You have them. You can please help me to show this PPT.
Yes, our IT is working on it, and we've already enabled screen sharing for you. So what you can share your PPT screen.
Okay, I began to talk, and then your assistant helped to show to others. The Belt Road Initiative. This I think it's very important to understand. It's about civilization. From the Asian, different civilizations connect each other from the west to the east continental Eurasia continent. Today, it's also about the adaptation of the civilization. What kind of civilization should adapt the new environment after the pandemic? People think about the globalization. Now it's globalization, global regionalization. Supply chain should be more resilient. So whether your system, your political system, your supply chain system can be adapted to a new kind of situation. The U.S. problem, their domestic politics, they are not adapt to others so much. They only blame China, blame others. This is their problem. So today, digitalization, ecology civilization is a new concept of two civilizations. So whether those Asian civilizations can be jointly with, like China, we said, great regeneration, and also adapt to the new concept of like ecology civilization and digital civilization is a huge challenge for everybody else. Looks, most of the countries, actually, developing countries, they're not industrialized, but they have the new challenge that carbon neutrality. If not achieved, realized industrialization, but now should cut the CO2 emission. So how can you both handle of these contradicted goals? So the Belt Road Initiative after the pandemic, that's to show that actually is the wisdom to how to coordinate and balance of the different goals. So I think that's a huge challenge for the Belt Road Initiative. So in my PPT, I can show you that after the pandemic, the resilience of the BRI, nearly all of the 145 countries, including 32 international organizations, they signed an MOU with China to jointly build the Belt Road Initiative. Nearly all the African countries, all Arabic countries. Why is still growing so resilient? Because it's very neat. Because it's a people-centric development model in China. We share with other countries. When the 1960s, 80s, so-called Washington Consensus, it's off capital, by capital, and for capital. So it's only the innovation, technology innovation, the investment only focused on the rich people. They make the rich richer, strong stronger, the poor poor. So that kind of a model is, of course, cannot be sustained, even in the United States. So that's the reason Trump elected so-called Rust Belt. In the world, if we cannot to handle this issue, to change the model from the capital-driven to people-centric development model, the world will be suffering lots of the crises, refugee crisis, terrorist, I think the populist, it's everywhere. So I think the most important for us to understand the Belt Road Initiative is the transformation of the civilization from to more focus on the people. The traditional globalization is China is as a market power practicing. US is innovation power, financial and technology innovation. The European Union is a normative power. So that's a kind of a triangle. But today, US so-called decouple, built the in the name of the multilateralism, but actually it's the alliance system, exclusive to China, to somebody else. So we need a new kind of civilization, the true multilateralism. Firstly, you should be on the lateral. You should be independent. You should be access to the technology and development. Otherwise, so-called multilateralism, you are marginalized. So-called the exclusive multilateralism cannot solve this problem. So all the initiative like China Belt initiatives, we are open, we are inclusive to everybody. To I think to jointly to build our better future, shared future for mankind. So that's basically I think my understanding of the Belt Initiative. Okay, the 3 parts in my PPT. The first one is about the globalization in transition. The 2 kinds of the transition. One is to globalization, global regionalization, global supply chain. I think the Belt Initiative is highlights the different hubs, not just one hub, one center, other periphery of the kind of Washington consensus system. So change that. So different local hub. Maybe now Afghanistan after the U.S. service troops. Maybe it's be the hub to connect South Asia, Western Asia, Central Asia, even China and continental and maritime. So that and secondly, transition is from the China as a world factory, now China be the world market. It's more focused on digitalization, ecology, civilization, and also for health. So more for people. So that's kind of the 2 kinds of the transformation. And then the Belt Initiative also transferred. I think at the beginning, the Belt Initiative is more focused on Eurasia continental mutual connectivity, infrastructure building. So-called 65 countries, including China, 6 economic corridors. But now we think about it, it's 145 countries signed the MOU with China. It's globally. It's not just the infrastructure building. It's more on mutually connectivity. Mutual connectivity, not just the hard connectivity, but also soft. So-called soft internet mutual connectivity, like different legal system, different cultural, the different political systems, they can harmonize. I think that's I think very important, because the WTO is a traditional globalization. But now we need like RCEP. Now with China also joined the CPTPP. China also signed the bilateral investment treaty with European Union. So it's more high quality, high level of regionalization and globalization. So that kind of transformation. Of course, many new challenges with this the great transformation. First, about the digital Silk Road. The many people, many countries, regions still suffer the lack of the electricity. Now, 70% of 5G stations built in China, but this causes loss of electricity. So if you are without enough electricity, how can you transfer to 5G? So that's the challenge. And also about the so-called data trap. Now the US put for the data trap, UK, say like Huawei, they have the security problem, not the safety problem. Actually, if only rely on the US, there's no problem. Anything if they are built by China or jointly with China, that's trap. So that's the Americans' excuse. And then also, but we needed to build more consensus for the digital mutual connectivity about data safety, security. So China also jointly have the global data safety security initiative recently with African countries signed jointly on the data security protection. I think that's maybe in the South Asia with other countries, with other regions also will follow up this. So that is about digital digital Silk Road, about not just about data security, also about the rules. As the data is also about different kinds of beliefs and way of living. For instance, the US blame China we eat with a chopstick, save one hand, the left hand still use the cell phone to do business and learning. So they say this is unfair competition, whatever. So they have many excuses. The second about the Green Silk Road, when China declared that we are not invest any of traditional of the coal-fired power projects abroad. I think that's very important. Even we need to do this because China still mostly rely on the coal factory. But we need, because of the China put forward the by 2030 of the carbon neutrality reach the peak, and 2060 to be reach the carbon neutrality. I think that's very important. 130 countries also put similar goals. And the third about Silk Road for health, as the senators mentioned about the vaccine. If China not produce so many vaccines as a public goods, how can the poor countries they can rapidly vaccinate? So far, African countries only 8% be vaccinated, so it's a huge problem for them. Now, China, not just made in China, sent to all the world, produced in 16 countries of the vaccines at the different regional hubs to provide public goods for the local for that cultural region. So that's the of the Silk Road for health. And then recently, President Xi also in July they celebrate of the 75 years anniversary of the United Nations establishment about global development initiative, because China as the first country ahead of 10 years to reach the SDG 17 goals, like lift poverty and all this. So many other countries actually the postponed even cannot achieve that goal. So there are 8 core areas for the global development initiative, including basically the idea is people first, people-centric, but also about the low carbon technology transfer. So that's I think is more urgent to reach that kind of goal. And some people even question about when China put forward a dual circulation strategy, where Belt and Road Initiative is not much investment. Actually, dual circulation strategy is about Chinese economic growth per se. It's more domestic demand innovation. China as a world factory and China with a world market, but we still need circulation with the BRI countries. It's a circulation. It's not just the goods or investment, but also about the data flow and also about servers, about innovation, about the high level of the standards and the rules to say it jointly. And then come back to China and South Asia cooperation. Firstly, South Asia, actually the Silk Road, we learn Buddhism from ancient South Asian countries, including Pakistan. And that's our joint history, our joint memory of culture. Today, the regionalization also means the regional community that we build the shared identity of the history of their memory. And then you can have the shared future. In this regards, we can have more people-to-people exchange to like a movie, like a drama, like a novel, all kinds of to find the our common heritage and a common memory, and also maybe because now it's a VR about AI or all kinds of technologies, so we can have the metric or the new versions of our future designing, particularly for the young people. And then, according to the global community of shared future, I think that we should draft the new history books. The traditional history books is your history, their history, they're separate. We need to take the world as a whole to redesign our history. It's our history. Recently, I also attended the democracy of the common values of human being. I also learned from African friends, like recently the Tutu, the South African principal passed away. His motto is Ubuntu. The Ubuntu motto is I am because we are. So it's not I in English always, capital is the individual centric. Think about we, the biggest we, of course, is the human being. So we first think about the human being as a whole, and then think about our personal or national interests, aspiration. I think that's very important. So in that kind of mentality, we can have a more not just for economic cooperation, but also to jointly build common and shared values, shared identities. And finally, the Belt and Road Initiative, how to deal with the US and the European challenges, so-called the Building Back a Better World and the Global Gateway Initiative of the European Union. They are different with the BRI, even they're saying that they are versions of the BRI. The American problem is that all the American initiative is exclusive. somebody cannot join. Like in Latin America, Venezuela, Cuba, or Bolivia cannot join. Okay, that is their alliance or their political ideology oriented. Second, they are capital driven, private capital driven. Private capital driven is focused on the rich, make money, make a bubble. So even domestic challenges, the US now they cannot pass in the House of the Representatives because with the billions of the trillions of the US dollars of the infrastructure building, even domestically. So how can you rely on the US to invest for the infrastructure building for you? And most importantly, US is not a world factory. They cannot build this, even they have their AUKUS here with Australia, but they cannot build this for them. China is their world factory as a most completed categories of the industries in the United Nations. So we can most efficient and cheapest to build all the kind of the infrastructure. For the European Union, they have the Global Gateway initiative. The European Union said this is a value-oriented initiative, different with China. The BRI is development-oriented. But if you say you're value-oriented, but value cannot eat, cannot make you live the poverty. Yeah. Of course, you should best firstly to after the pandemic to deal with the economic recession. You should first make money for lift the poverty. You should first make the economic recovery. You should first build the infrastructure. You should first have the economy, and then you can talk about the value. If you say high values, high standard, and then other countries, of course, those countries cannot jointly. They isolate in the industrialization. They continue to be isolated, even marginalized industrialization. So that we welcome the competition, but the loss of if China and the US and the European Union can work together to cooperate, whatever name, don't BRI, we can check the name with Global Development Initiative, whatever, but jointly to build the mutual connectivity infrastructure for the world. That's most, I think, welcome that. But they are not in that kind of intention. They just want to, you cannot accept China money, China's investment. That's a trap, so-called debt trap. That's the data trap. That's everything trap. It's China trap. You just rely on my empty value, high standard, exclusive, and then make those countries difficult to take side, and then make trouble for the world. So it's not a healthy competition. We don't worry about competition, but we need a healthy competition. We need to work for the people, not just in the name, because China do, and everything exclusive to the BRI. So make it that kind of trouble. So that's unfortunately, I think. But of course, European Union, they have lots of the low efficiency in doing so. They have also populist government domestically, lots of the problems. But it's just sometimes the empty service to say something to make those countries, like in Nepal, the Americans, the millennium, the goals say, 600 million US dollars to invest, and then you don't use the China money. But whose money doesn't matter actually. Who can not just invest, can build the infrastructure, who can leave the poverty, who can help you to have the industrialized. That's makes sense. If US can do this, welcome. China always ready to work together, cooperate together with US and with the European Union to make the world be better. So that's, I think, my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Wang Yiwei, for your very comprehensive presentation and about the sustainable and inclusive approach of the Belt and Road, and as opposed to an exclusive approach. Many other points which you made. Thank you. Before I go on to Mr. Kalyan Raj Sharma, just one request. The time limit for every speaker is between 5 to 6 minutes because we have multiple countries participating today, and we would like to give appropriate and adequate time to every speaker. So that is 5 to 6 minutes within the topic one. Now the second speaker is Mr. Kalyan Raj Sharma. Over to you, Mr. Sharma.
Hello, namaste, and ni hao, respected chairman, and all friends from the different part of the South Asia and South Asia and those friends of the Silk Road, and we are together. And it's very nice to meet after a long time. So I want to send my greetings to all of you. So it's very nice to see that Belt and Road Initiative Cooperative organized in the Friend of Silk Road Club, Pakistan. And I also represent Friend of Silk Road Club, Kathmandu. So it's very nice to meet all of you together. So anyway, what I'm going to tell now about the regional cooperation. So Belt and Road announced by President Xi Jinping in 2013. So since that, it is increasing by day, as we have seen a lot of countries, more than 126 countries, 29 foreign organizations, and 174 different participating document has been done. So after this BRI initiative, as I've seen the data, there are more than 80 billion US dollar has been invested and more than 300,000 jobs has been created. So it has helped a lot for the developing and cooperating and sharing the things. So China has emerged as a ray of hope for South Asian country as a stable development partner, complement their development needs at the time of the global economy is showing Western donor funding is declining. So actually China gradually strengthening their economic relations with China, embedding, continue with growth and expanding. So South Asian country has come the different perspective BRI, South Asian Silk Road Economic Belt and 21st Maritime Silk Road. China's Belt and Road Initiative in South Asia include 4 major projects that we all know like CPEC, Bangladesh, China, India, Myanmar Economic Corridor, Trans-Himalaya Corridor, China cooperation with Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives under 21st Century Maritime Silk Road. BRI is most up and coming project to the China-Pakistan corridor runs through the Asia. The BRI's most critical country, India, is also located in South Asia. In this connection, allow China to minimize the reliance on shipping by Singapore, Malacca Strait, while Pakistan benefit from infrastructure, industrial growth along the telecommunication network in both South Asian countries. During the 2015-16 India's blockade to Nepal, we have realized that importance of diversifying its commercial transportation connectivity with China. The memorandum understanding was described as a most significant effort in the history of bilateral ties, heralding the new era of cross-border connectivity between China and Nepal. Under BRI, Nepal has been offered access to China's 4 major ports in order to minimize Nepal's excessive dependency with India. This effort is regarded as one of the most enthusiastic infrastructure undertaking ever diverse. With such a compelling potential, Nepal couldn't have stayed silent. Nepal formally joined the BRI on May 12, 2017. 5 years after this inspection, adding another vital strength on the amicable ties between the two countries. Both Nepal and China has identified 9 projects upgrading the Rasuagadi Kathmandu Road, construction the Kimathanga Hilly Road, construction the Dipal Chinese border, and the Tokha Bidur Highway, and Galsi Rasuagadi Kerung transmission line, Kerung Kathmandu Rail. These many projects we have initiative. With all of those initiations on the horizon, the necessity of complete those projects must be primary stage of attracting the finance and technology. Not only with this stage participant vital for the Nepal's overall development under BRI concept of collaboration, but so will social involvement. To obtain significant benefit from BRI involvement in Nepal must solve local, geopolitical, cultural issue. It will be critical to invest ground level project targeted to improve living standard of the people, researching collaboration, academic potential to the construct the green inclusive corridor can be necessary step in approach. Nepal should have issued the precise proposal outlining the percentage of the cost it would be there and the sum of foreign anticipant from China in the form of grant or low interest loan. Actually, just now Professor Wang also tell about the MCC Actually, there are being a lot of issues in the MCC. So MCC is one of the greatest grant received from Nepal by the US in the history. But MCC grant is not in the best interest of the Nepal because there are certain issues. The agreement is allow for the involvement of US military unit in Nepal, resulting in similar scenario to that for the Afghanistan. It undermined Nepal's sovereignty and integrity. The US want to fulfill its vested interest by requiring this agreement to be approved by the parliament, and it needs Nepal to acquire explicit permission from India before implementing the project. Because of these issues, it's not good for the Nepal's sovereignty of this MCC. Also, at the article of 5.1, the agreement also states that if the MCC fund is discovered to be utilized or employed for helping military and police activity in Nepal, the US government has the power to terminate this agreement. MCC is component of the United States Indo-Pacific strategy, which include military component generated opposing China friendly neighbor. According to the MCC agreement, it states the provision in the compact will take precedence of Nepal's current law in the event of conflict, which require parliamentary confirmation. The MCC is the first grant agreement that must be approved by the parliament, which make it more controversial. Friend of Silk Road in regional organization consists of Bangladesh, Malaysia, Nepal, Pakistan, Thailand, Sri Lanka, and others. The objective of the FOSR is promote cooperation between the countries in the various spheres, including trade, investment, discuss issues such as economic development, strengthening youth policies, different level of cooperation. Friend of Silk Road Nepal is an initiative that brings people's platform, bringing together from the different segment of the societies, as before says the friends of the like-minded. So FOSR Nepal started with including representatives from the communities, politics, media, commercial, and opinion leaders, youth and women, professional and civil societies, learner and academician. The forum aimed to provide the deeper understanding as well as information about the advantage of the reward of development and growth afforded by the multiple opportunities originating from the Chinese Belt and Road initiatives. China's Belt and Road initiative has
Sorry, sir, you have 1 more minute left, Mr. Sharma.
Is smaller South Asian countries like Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Maldives, which MCC is also targeting the same countries for infrastructure and networking initiative, with the total population of 2.5 billion people. South Asia is a market of huge invest and participant. In the one of the fifth South Asian population are youth and age of between 14 to 24 years. Hence, BRI is tremendous economic potential in South Asia. Nepal should commit non-alignment foreign policy, promote BRI, protect by national interest by the focusing on transmitting and reliability. In failure of Nepal to accept grant and foreign direct investment, but only a key area to order the promote productivity, the environment, social coordination, employment, and long-term development. Finally, politicians and officials are concerned about what India will think about Nepal pursue the BRI project. With the geopolitical pressure mounting, the political leadership has remained the edgest to move the BRI forward. To move away the BRI initiative necessity and strong political will. Nepal must clearly define its goals in terms of with sector take international loan, which accept only international grant, and which take soft loan or subsidized loans. So thank you very much and wish you all of you a happy new year and hope 2022 will be greatest year of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma, and great to learn that there's so much happening in the China-Nepal relationship, particularly under the auspices of the Belt and Road. We'd now like to invite Mr. Dilip Barua, who is the chairman of the Bangladesh-China Silk Road Forum. I would request the IT to please unmute Mr. Dilip Barua.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
please, sir. Over to you.
I want to say good afternoon, Honorable Chairman of this session, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. At first, I congratulate you all for New Year's greetings. We are at the corridor of the 2022. So on this critical juncture, we are happy to meet with the distinguished guests like Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Malaysia. I want to say Thailand and other countries also. I want to say perhaps all of you expert regarding these topics, today's topics. I want to add some things else, maybe. The Belt and Road Initiative is a development strategy adopted by the Chinese government involving infrastructure development and investing in 152 countries and international organizations in Europe, Asia, Middle East, Latin America, and Africa. Belt refers to the land routes for road and rail transportations called the Silk Road Economic Belt, whereas road refers to the sea routes or the 21st century maritime Silk Road. It was known as the One Belt, One Road, and with Road Economic Belt and the 21st Maritime Silk Road until 2016. When the Chinese government considered the emphasized the word one was prone to misinterpretations. The Belt and Road Initiative can transform the economic environment in which economics in the region operate regional corporations on the new and import transportation infrastructure and policy reforms could substantially reduce trade costs and in improving connectivity, leading to a higher cross-border trade and investment and improved growth in the region. The Belt and Road Initiative is the new visions of Comrade Xi Jinping for reviving a new Silk Road covering land and sea, aiming at better global economy and harmonious world. In the same time, Comrade Xi Jinping new visions of the globalizations and the creative thinking to link the East and West by the old Silk Road and the Maritime Silk Road for enriching traders from the Atlantic to the Pacific. BRI is the most ambitious infrastructure investment effort in the history of the mankind and will be benefited large number of people than the Marshall Plan launched by the USA after the Second World War. The principal objective of BRI for achieving a connectivity of shared destiny for all mankind would mean shaping a new visions of globalization with Chinese characteristics, which is likely to be distinct from the one led by the USA after the World War II. The BRI, which is a new visions, will create a new wave of globalization for a new development strategy for the world. But ironically, the West, led by USA and India, against the concept of BRI and tried to create adverse situation to jeopardize the Chinese initiative, and the coming days will be the more critical for enhancing this concept, and process of BRI may lead to a difficult situation. Both the USA and European Union have challenged the Belt and Road Initiative with raising huge fund for development work. Moreover, the Corona COVID-19 pandemic throughout the world has created a worse situations to promote BRI concept. So the BRI initiative may require more time to get momentum, but prevailing situations of the world will lead BRI to win-win cooperations with the promotes common development and prosperity and a road towards peace and friendships. There will be the ample of opportunities to give more efforts to integrate the development of strategies of the countries along the routes of the Belt and Road Initiative and develop which will be towards common prosperity of the mankind. On the theoretical concept of Chinese Belt and Road Initiative, we have organized the Bangladesh-China Silk Road Forum. The principal objective of this organization is to exchange similar ideas and initiative between Bangladesh and China and other countries along the route of the Belt and Road Initiative with a view of building a community of common destiny in the mind. Moreover, it will help for defining policy, consideration, facilities, connectivity, unimpeded trade, financial integrations, and peoples to peoples bonds, as well as uphold the multilateral trading systems and depending on the trade between the two countries. We are a strong supporter. Our country, Bangladesh, is the member of the Belt and Road Initiative, and we are our common people. They are very much interested regarding the Belt and Road Initiative, regarding Belt and Road Initiative. We want to organize all sections of the peoples in our country, intellectuals, students community, labor, and other things also. At the same time, we are wanting for BCIM economic corridor, but still there is some problem with the Myanmar border regarding Rohingya. But this, if we are able to implement this BCIM economic corridor, it will be very helpful for South Asia as well as Bangladesh also. And we are try to connect with this economic forum, but whether the geopolitical situation will not allow Bangladesh to be the part of this economic forum. So I think there is an ample of opportunities for this Belt and Road initiatives, and I think in this way we will develop gradually, and it will create an economic forum in course of time to help the peoples to peoples connectivity and to oppose the, I want to say, what USA and our regional power try to impose the third world countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dilip Barua. I think the BCIM has a lot of potential. It's in a very important area where there's a big emerging market. There's a youth dividend, population bulge, and it can do wonders. And I think it's very important to know that and understand and acknowledge that the Belt and Road is a very inclusive project, like my friend Wang Yiwei said. And it's not against any particular country. In fact, I remember at the Belt and Road Forum, the first one, the United States was officially not there, but the governor of California had attended it himself. And I can see Mr. Wang is nodding his head. So this is it's a very open forum, and Pakistan, China have also asked India and other countries to be part of it because it's purely an economic project of connectivity. And as we've seen that Afghanistan has also expressed its interest and enthusiasm to be part of the Silk Road. Now we would like to invite Madam Dararat Puch Mongkol, who's the Assistant Secretary General of the Thai Chinese Culture and Economy Association. Madam, pardon my pronunciation if I didn't do justice to your name. And over to you. I would IT, can you please unmute Madam Dararat? She is in the second row. Please unmute Madam Dararat. There seems to be, now you're fine. I think now you're unmuted. Please, over to you.
Okay. สวัสดีค่ะ Thank you for introducing me, and your pronunciation is very nice. Thank you. My name is Dararat Phutmongkol. I'm from the Thai Chinese Culture and Economy Association, Thailand. In the past, the Silk Road trade route was created to make peace and civilizations. The intention was to end the war and conflict between China and the tribes surrounding it, and also to expand and facilitate international trade. After 18th National Congress of the Chinese Communist Party, President Xi Jinping has the initiative to establish the One Belt, One Road initiative, which Thai people so call it the Silk Road. It is the biggest project to build world peace and help facilitate international trade among humankind. It is truly the magic of the wisdoms of the central leading of the China Communist Party to stop the conflict and war, which has been the atmosphere of the world for a long time, since the World War II. This initiative is one of the largest establishments in humankind. As Thai people, I would like to express our admirations for the wisdom of the initiative with strong confidence that eventually the peace and development of civilization will lead us to endure peace and end wars and conflict in this world. Therefore, at the APEC meeting hosted by China, Thailand was the first country to announce our support to the establishment of the One Belt, One Road project, and officially, substantially participating in this project as the founder member of the AIIB, which helps fund the country that participate in the project. Today, the benefits of the initiative to all humankind has manifested its brightness and greatness. As a result of how much impact and benefit this project has on this world, hundreds of countries have participated in the One Belt, One Road project. It is now obvious to the world that the One Belt, One Road can bring advantages to the international economy and civilizations on a global scale. It will also bring peace and unity to the world. History has shown that our world is filled with peace and that civilization cannot flourish during the war. However, the selfishness and the endless greed of people have never vanished. President Mao Zedong called it this the demon of the war, which is the threat to the humankind and shall come to an end to bring enduring peace to the world. Because the remarkable benefit of President Xi Jinping's initiatives is the truth of this era. There is no darkness or leverage that can stop it from happening. The private sector in many countries decided to establish the Friends of Silk Road Initiatives Club. As the Thai Chinese Culture and Economy Association can foresee the benefit of these initiatives, we participate in this initiative to help build the network and the private sector globally, and to support the One Belt, One Road initiative to help to bringing benefits and happiness to the mankind. On behalf of the Thai Chinese Culture and Economy Associations, I'd like to thank Pakistan's Friends of Silk Road Club for hosting this event. And I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Chinese Communist Party for giving us all a chance to be a part of this event. And through this conference, our association has signed an agreement to show our support for the Friends of Silk Road and encourage the world to support and participate in the One Belt, One Road initiative to lead the success of the most significant initiative of this world. Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ
excellent, Madam Dararat. You're the only one who has adhered to the time limit, and I'm very grateful to you for that. And we really wish the Thai-Chinese relationship to blossom. Thailand is a very important country in East Asia, and a very fond destination for all of us. Now we will move to the topic 2, which is shared interests of the Belt and Road countries, how to preserve, protect, and promote the Belt and Road Initiative. And as we know that since its inception, the BRI has attempted to create a community of shared future and destiny for mankind. And as the Belt and Road is moving forward, we are seeing that there are a lot of challenges that are coming towards the Belt and Road from different countries and media, and regarding the debt trap, regarding low employment of local communities, and there's a lot of disinformation as well. So this session will address these issues and how the Belt and Road countries can better coordinate between themselves and amongst themselves and have a joint shared strategy in dealing with the challenges to the Belt and Road countries. I would like to first invite the first speaker for topic 2, Mr. Dai Yong Hong, the Director of the Institute of Global Governance and Area Studies of the Shenzhen University. And over to you, Mr. Dai.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and also ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me to be here to share my understanding of this topic. So my topic is the new situations and opportunities for high quality Belt and Road cooperation. As we know that the new round of scientific and technological revolution and industrial transformation have brought about unprecedented competition. Global issues such as climate change and epidemic prevention and control are having unprecedented impact on human society. The international environment for Belt and Road cooperation is becoming more and more complex. Faced with such a new situation, it is all the more important for us to pursue high standard, sustainable, and people-friendly development and stay committed to high quality Belt and Road cooperation. So next, I would like to focus on 6 guiding keywords to be addressed, and that is connectivity, health, green and innovation, and poverty reduction. First, strengthen hard connectivity infrastructure and soft connectivity in rules and standards, and jointly open up a bright future for integrated development. Since the launch of the Belt and Road Initiative, many infrastructure projects have been completed and delivered tangible results. The circle of friends of the BRI continues to expand. The hard infrastructure, the hard connectivity infrastructure in countries along the BRI provides important support for high quality Belt and Road cooperation. But next, we need to push connectivity to a deeper level with the hard connectivity of infrastructure to drive the soft connectivity of rules and standards, and ultimately achieve the hard band of people around the world. So on the other hand, enterprises should pay attention to international economic and trade rules and compliance operation. Relevant departments should continue to improve and perfect China's own compliance system, create better external conditions for enterprises to avoid risks and drive the international soft connectivity of China's rules and standards. This is the first point. Secondly, I think that all parties will work together to make BRI more concrete. The unipolar world order that the United States has been trying to establish for many years is becoming increasingly difficult to maintain as the world situation is increasingly moving towards multipolarity. So with the development of emerging economies, the economic aggregate of developing countries and developed countries have changed significantly. Regional economic composed of developing countries have become shifting towards the non-Westernization and multipolarity. The BRI is a platform for multilateral cooperation, which can strengthen multilateral dialogue and cooperation between China and other countries in the world, and promote world economic development and social prosperity and stability. Therefore, high-quality BRI cooperation is of great importance to regional and country studies or area studies along the BRI. It not only adapts the changes in the current international pattern, but also helps enrich the detailed cognition and comprehensive understanding of the relevant countries, and makes scientific research on the situation and conditions of cooperation and development. So the second point. The third point is to forge closer health partnership and build a health Silk Road. So in 2020, the sudden outbreak, as we know, the COVID-19, has profoundly changed the world. But the pause button for BRI cooperation has not been pressed. The Belt and Road partners have worked together to fight the epidemic and seek common development and making positive contributions to international cooperation and on epidemic prevention and control, helping countries fight the epidemic, stabilizing the economics and protecting people's lives. Although the COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated disruption of global supply chains and value chains, it should also serve as an important opportunity for China to strengthen industrial chain links with the countries along the BRI, especially the field of healthcare. There is great potential for enhancing cooperation with countries along BRI. For China and the world, COVID-19 outbreak is a new challenge and a new threat, of course. Many countries' health deficiency is being exposed as a result of the outbreak era. Public health cooperation will still be important role in the building of the area studies, creating health Silk Road, which will continue to promote people's health and well-being. So in China's 15th five-year plan and the outline for the vision and goals for 2035, China will actively carry out cooperation with BRI countries in healthcare and in the infectious diseases prevention and control to build a Silk Road of health. So number 4, green, the key word green. Green is the underpinning of high quality BRI cooperation, and innovation is an important way to achieve high quality development. So against the backdrop of global climate change, building a green belt and road has become an important part of the BRI. And in recent years, China has been committed to green and innovative development under the BRI, and China has explored very quite a number of successful practical paths. So through this international sharing of innovative knowledge, technologies, and products, China has an important productive base for the green development of BRI. And the development, and this, I would like to just cite some examples to show that. So by strengthening cooperation in green infrastructure, green energy, and green finance, and improving multilateral cooperation platforms, such as the BRI International Alliance for Green Development and the Belt and Road Principles on Green Investment, should be the focus of discussion in the future. We should not only carry out the regional support for the development of green and low carbon energy in developing countries, promote green low carbon development information sharing and capacity building, and deepening cooperation, ecological, environmental, and climate, even more in the area, in the process of project financing. And so they should need these joint efforts of the BRI countries. And lastly is about the poverty reduction, because BRI is to can be very useful for poverty reduction and growth, and the fruits of development should benefit all the people. BRI, as we know, is an important measure taken by China as an emerging major country to benefit and contribute to the world. Although the global economy has shown signs of recovery, the path of recovery among countries has shown serious disparity, and the developing countries will be hit harder by the pandemic. According to UN estimates, nearly 100 million people have been pushed into extreme poverty as a result of COVID-19. Although China has scored an overall victory in battle against poverty and accomplished the arduous task of eliminating absolute poverty, but the global poverty remains grim, and the gap between the rich and the poor in some countries have widened, making it difficult to achieve the poverty reduction targets set in the UN 2030 agenda for sustainable development. So China's successful experience has proved to the world that poverty eradication requires sustainable, substantial investment in infrastructure, human resources development, education, healthcare, and agriculture development. So the practices and experience are being passed on to the relevant countries through the BRI. According to some estimates that according to the World Bank report, by 2030, China's BRI cooperation is expected to lift 7.6 million people out of extreme poverty and 32 million people out of the moderate poverty. In the future, China will further build the BRI into a growth for poverty reduction and growth. So the above mentioned the 5 or the 6 guiding keywords, I just is my conclusion for this high quality Belt and Road cooperation. And that is the connectivity, both the hard connectivity and the soft connectivity, health and green, health Silk Road, and the green and innovation Silk Road, and also, of course, the poverty reduction. This is the final goal for not only for China, but also for the BRI countries and human beings. Thank you very much. This is my understanding.
Thank you, Mr. Dai, for your very, very good insights on the Belt and Road. And now I will hand the virtual podium to myself to speak on the shared interests and on the 3 Ps of how to preserve, protect, and promote the BRI. I think that first, to understand the context is very important. And when you talk about the context of the developing world, a lot of Asia, particularly South Asia, Middle East, Central Asia, and Africa, have always traditionally depended on the Bretton Woods institutions, the World Bank and the IMF, to some extent on the ADB. So in 2013, when President Xi announced in his visit to Kazakhstan, the Belt and Road Initiative, it was a game changer for the developing world, because the developing world has been, as I said, dependent on these particular institutions that also, of course, have political interests and are managed by countries like the United States, like the United Kingdom. And the World Bank and the IMF are also tools of and political levers of these countries. And as we know, that after the Treaty of Westphalia, these institutions were created for this particular purpose, to preserve the US architecture, the financial architecture of the United States and the West, to preserve and protect and enhance that. So when the Belt and Road Initiative was announced, it was a boom for developing countries, because for the first time they had an alternative, which they never had before. An alternative for means of development, an alternative for power projects, for roads, for infrastructure, and mind you, for universities and